Hi, I'm Mark Loftus with Post Magazine. Welcome to Post TV at NAB 2014 in Las Vegas. I'm joined at the Post booth by Jeremy Cox of Imaginary Forces in New York City.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, thank you. Now, Imaginary Forces, I'm somewhat familiar with the facility. Tell us about some of the work that you guys do.
We're mostly known for our title work, so we do television titles and movie titles and things like that, but lately we've been doing a lot of actual work for video games, so video game cinematics and trailers and things for video games, as well as we're always doing commercials and broadcast design, and also really if it exists in motion, we've probably done it at some point or other.
Yeah. Can you name any of the clients? You had mentioned Mad Men.
Yeah, I personally was able to work on the titles for Mad Men, and I did the titles for Boardwalk Empire, and we did a bunch of work for the God of War video game series, so we've done cinematics and trailers and things for those games. Mm-hmm. So it's really a pretty broad range of different things.
And you're here at NAB because you're a Maxon Cinema 4D user, so you're actually presenting at their booth.
Yep. I'm showing the South Park opening titles that we just did for season 17 of South Park, and some various other interesting projects that we use Cinema 4D in, but we use all sorts of different software, and it's great to just explore around the show and see all the new releases and all the interesting things that are going on.
I know Cinema 4D has close integration with After Effects. Yep. They've got some other news from ThinkBox about Krakatoa this year, and
the Krakatoa news is really exciting. If you know about Krakatoa, it's just this amazingly fast renderer for particles. So if you're doing any sort of particle simulation or anything, you can just you can render millions of particles in 10 seconds. It's just a very instantaneous way to render a lot of particles really quickly, which has always been a problem with Cinema 4D, is the rendering of particles. So that's very exciting for us.
There's a lot of tools out there, obviously, for animation, titling, and things like that. What made you choose that application? Is it the studio that kind of steered you in that direction, or is that your own background?
Me personally, it's because I started as a designer, and as a designer, I wasn't particularly familiar with the 3D software, and Cinema 4D was by far the most accessible, so it was easy just to jump in. A lot of the things that you need to do every day, it just does amazingly easily, so you can just put in type and you get 3D type, and it's just, unlike a lot of other 3D applications that are very technically focused, it's very artist-centric, so it's really trying to make the things that you do every day easier. But I use all sorts of different software. So After Effects, as you mentioned, I use a lot, and I've been doing more and more nuke compositing, and of course Photoshop and Illustrator and all of the Adobe stuff we use. But really, I love learning new things, so I'm constantly trying to find new software that's interesting that I can learn.
Now, you've been at the Maxon booth, obviously, doing presentations. Do you have any time to get out of the booth and just explore some of the new technologies? And if so, what's catching your attention?
Obviously, there's some interesting new camera stuff out there, and we do plenty of live action shooting, so it's always exciting to see new cameras that just make things more and more accessible. The Foundry announcement about the new Nuke Studio is exciting, and I haven't actually had a chance to talk to them yet about it, but I'm really interested in hearing more about that. But you are a Nuke user. I am a Nuke user, and I think that it's definitely interesting to see more of this kind of end-to-end workflow that they're figuring out with the integration between Hero and Nuke. So I think that's very exciting. The little AE Scripts booth is showing a very interesting new plugin that they're working on called Sticky Paint. So it's almost like you can paint textures on your 3D models after you've rendered it, and it will stick to the animation of the models. So I'm blown away just watching it and just thinking of all the different possibilities that we can do in terms of not having to go back to 3D to re-render things. You can just paint on top of the model, and it'll track with your animation.
Right.
Which is, you can take a grunge texture and paint it on your 3D model. You need a little bit of grit in there. You just paint it on. You don't need to go back to 3D to re-render.
Gotcha.
So I'm very excited about that plugin that they're working on.
Cool. Well, we want to thank you for coming by our booth here at NAB, sharing some of your insight as to the new technology and your experience over at Imaginary Forces.
Absolutely.